Hi everybody, I'm Kris from theseekfaxis.com and I'm here today with Teflon. Say hello, Teflon.
Hello.
And we are going to talk today to you about Dark Souls 3, which you went and saw recently, Tef.
That is right, yeah. This is something that people have been previewing over the last week or so, and it's like the first 3 hours of the game. Or at least, I had 3 hours in which to try and play Dark Souls 3.
Yeah, you can't really demo any of the Dark Souls games or Demon Souls or Bloodborne in a like, here's the first 3 hours of the game. Here's how far you can get. Are you dead? You're dead.
I kind of pity anyone that has to play it. Like, you've got 20 minutes to play it, and it's just like, okay, so I get like 2 lives maybe, and I'll probably just die at the first person.
Anyway, have you played any of the Souls games before for comparison?
So, yes and no. Mainly no. I haven't played any of the games with souls in the title, but I have played Bloodborne.
Which is basically a Souls game, just without the word soul in the title.
Yeah, so that it could be an exclusive for PlayStation 4, which is nice. And so I kind of now I understand what the game is about, and I understand the difficulty and the way that you have to get through the world and be methodical, and you're learning through trial and error. And I really, really like Bloodborne. And for a long time, I've been meaning to buy Dark Souls 2 on the PS4 and play a bit of that, but it's just... It's the old time. Yeah, it is intimidating, and it's the old time factor as
absolutely.
Well. It's difficult to find time.
But going from your experience with Bloodborne into this few hours playing Dark Souls 3, how did you find that?
So there's enough similarities between the two games, and I mean, I kind of see how some people went from Dark Souls 2 to Bloodborne, and they were just like, oh, there's so many different things, like I don't have a shield, and I have to dodge everything, I've got transforming weapons, and now... because I started with Bloodborne, I'm doing this in reverse. Yeah. So going into Dark Souls 3, I am having to learn how a different game works. And so there are a lot of similarities. And I'm led to believe that the gameplay is faster. So they've taken some of the ideas from Bloodborne and they've sort of brought those across. And so they've always had this common DNA. And so this is just Dark Souls 3 is the next evolution of that, but it's got a lot of the kind of lore and the peculiarities of the Dark Souls games, which Bloodborne didn't have.
It's nice that they've brought the pace up a bit, actually, because that is one of the things I like about Bloodborne, is it doesn't feel fast-paced, but you kind of feel quite nippy when you're moving about and that sort of thing.
Yeah, I mean, you can still go into battle and just dodge, basically.
Yeah.
You do always have a shield. Well, you can have a shield, and you can use that, and you can take hits now with the shield, and that drains your stamina and stuff like that. And so, like, I was sort of kind of caught between thinking, okay, I need to attack and get this over and done with, but also trying to be cautious because I've got a shield, and trying to stay away and also get close and all of this. And so I was caught in two minds. Oh, I think the main thing that tripped me up was that in Bloodborne, when you take damage, if you strike back quickly, you can get some of that health back, and obviously you don't have that in Dark Souls.
That would be confusing, yes.
And so I'm just like, I'm taking these hits and I'm dying really, really quickly because, obviously in Bloodborne I'm getting that health back.
Yeah, well, in Bloodborne you're playing a more aggressive style, and here you're playing aggressively and they're just hitting you again. Yeah.
I mean, you can stagger them, and like it's still the same kind of timing and stuff like that. But yeah, there's some things like that. Elsewhere, I think the graphics are very similar between Bloodborne and Dark Souls 3.
Yeah, just kind of really dark and gothic, I would imagine.
Lots of that kind of thing. I mean, they're running on the same game engine as well, so you can expect to have the same kind of lighting effects, and it's obviously the same developer, and they've got
almost like the lighting effects in Bloodborne are kind of weird in there. They're almost like just they've built a shadow engine instead of a lighting engine.
Yeah, I guess you could say that. But I think it's obviously not Yharnam and the surrounding areas, but I think there's going to be, and you've got like the castle area, which has been shown several times, but I think there's going to be, you've got that same kind of feeling and that vibe. And noted down very quickly is that hollowing is now gone. So it used to be in Dark Souls 2 that if you die and you leave your puddle of souls to pick up, then you have to get there, but you are a hollowed person, and so you have to do it with half your health and all of this stuff. That's gone. So it's just like in Bloodborne, where if you get back to that puddle, you can have it. You can call in co-op people to come and play alongside you and stuff like this.
Nice.
Another change compared to Dark Souls 2 is, and like I was playing as, I forget the name of the class, but basically a kind of fighty person.
Was it a fighter?
It wasn't a fighter. It wasn't even a knight or anything like that. I called her Janine Butcher. I don't know why.
Okay. That's fair enough.
I don't know why, but I did. With the Estus flask, this was one of the other things with the health system that tripped me up a little bit, because Bloodborne, you can have as many health drinks as you want, and you stab, or blood vials, and you stab.
Yeah, I was going to say the little vial things, and the enemies drop them sometimes. And that kind of thing.
Exactly. Dark Souls, you have a set number each time that you spawn at or start from a bonfire. So you've only got a certain number of health potions to get you through to the next bonfire or to the next boss.
Oh, okay, yeah. So it's more about managing how you get to the next bonfire rather than like, okay, hopefully I can find some more health potions.
Yes, it's much more of that. But Dark Souls 3 has got a more traditional health and mana system in that it has mana. Or it's actually called FP, but let's call it mana, and that's used for magic, and there's new special melee attacks in like the two-handed mode that use up some of this magic. But I didn't really know about this because either I skipped past the little tutorial puddle on the floor, or it's not been made particularly clear to me. But one of the nice tweaks is that you can actually split your Estus charges however you want. So you've got up to 4, and you can either have, if you are angling for a more melee-focused character, then you can have all 4 of them be health. Or, conversely, if you want to be a more magic-y person, then you can have 4 magic.
Yeah, that's really smart. That's a nice mechanic to kind of add that extra layer of speccing to your character and kind of let you dynamically respec while you're playing.
Yeah, well, I think it's because you do pick a class at the start of the game, and then that defines how you're going to go through into these encounters. But I think it's a nice bit of strategy, and so if you are encountering a certain boss and it does certain different things, then you're like, well, maybe I need to attack them.
Yeah, exactly. It lets you change your approach to people as you play, without having to, perhaps saying respecking is a little bit over the top, but it lets you change your play style more dynamically without having to go and, like, in games that let you change your class, it's still quite an arduous process, whereas this seems like it's quite a simple thing. I assume that's every time you come back from bonfire, you can set the charges? No,
you have to do this in a hub area. So in order to switch it up, you have to go back to the hub, but you can do that from every bonfire that you are.
Okay. So you can just go back, do it, and come back to that bonfire.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. What about the boss and enemy design, which is quite a big deal in Bloodborne, and from what I've seen is in the earlier Souls games as well?
Yeah, so there's some really, really crazy stuff going on here. It's very strange. So the first boss character that you come to, he is just like slumped over, he's been stabbed through by a big old sword, and you pull this huge sword out, and that's like an item that is important for the story. And then he gets up, and you're sort of, for the first half of his health, he's just a normal big dude. He's got a big halberd, and he's trying to take you out. But like, get his health down to about half or thereabouts, and suddenly it's like, oh, it's the thing from the classic John Carpenter film, except that it's not like all sinew and horrible stuff, but it's kind of this black liquid flowing out of him and turning into this monster which kind of looks a bit like a giant rat mixed with a giant snake.
Well, that sounds terrifying.
It's really, really disconcerting, and I just saw it and I was just like, I do not know how to defeat this. Eventually I did. The trick was just to like get really, really close, and that was the tactic that seemed to work there. But that was after a lot of trying time and time again.
That's kind of how you play Dark Souls, though.
Yeah, I mean, other people have said that they've been able to get through it first time, or that it's not particularly difficult compared to other series, but I think some of that comes down to familiarity. Yeah,
I think if you've played a lot of the Souls series, then you're going to know sort of what to do, whereas you're coming at this as someone who's not played, although you've played Bloodborne, you haven't played specifically the Souls series before, so it's much tougher.
Yeah, the other thing is that this isn't just restricted to the boss characters, so you can encounter this kind of crazy rat transformation outside of boss areas, and so it's kind of like a medium-sized boss, and it can be really awkward, and it got to the point where I was just like, I'm not going to fight these. I'm just going to run past.
That seems safest, to be honest.
It kind of worked, and it meant I managed to get to the next bonfire and then to the second boss. But that's obviously not what you're meant to do. It's just like the thing is that they've got such a long reach, and then one of them was just like on the rooftops, and another one was on the kind of like the balustrade of the castle, or one of the towers of the castle. And so there's limited ability to maneuver, and that puts you into a really, really tight position where it's uncomfortable to try and fight them. I'd like to think that, because I had this with Bloodborne, where I just sat down and I played it at a preview for about an hour, and I was just completely stuck. And then as soon as I got the actual full game, I just like nailed it, and I just went straight through in about 30 minutes. And I like to think that that's kind of what I'll be able to do here now, because I've got that familiarity. But I want to play more of this game, but it's for this preview event, it did punish me quite a lot.
Yeah. I think if you want to play more of this game, you're going to have to get used to that.
Yes, exactly. I wish that I'd been able to see more of it, but that's going to have to wait until the game is actually out.
In terms of platforms, I assume this is coming to everything.
It's PC, Xbox One, PlayStation 4.
And do we have a release date for this?
Yes, we do. It's actually out a bit earlier in Japan on March 24th, but for the rest of the world, it's April 12th. So
Excellent.
Not that far away.
No, bearing down on us rather quickly. If you want to get more videos like this from the Sixth Axis, make sure you subscribe, and of course if you like this video, hit the like button. It really does help us. If you want to get stuff in a more like written words, I know people don't really like words anymore, but you can go to thesixthaxis.com and you can get words and stuff there, and also like some pictures
every once in a while.
Even if occasionally there's pictures, not that often. It's like a 1980s, just all text. That's how it works. Anyway, we'll be back soon with more videos. But for now, goodbye.
Goodbye.